What are some of the most expensive, most exclusive communities here in Westfield, Indiana? Well, today we're going to look at 3 different neighborhoods and just kind of show you what Westfield has to offer in terms of very high price point neighborhoods and communities. Stick around because you don't want to miss it. Welcome to the Discovering Central Indiana YouTube channel. I'm Eric with the Pels Realty Group, and if this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Central Indiana and the Central Indiana market, go ahead and subscribe below. My business partner Julie and I, we get calls and texts every single day from people just like you who are looking to make their move to Central Indiana. So whether that's in 9 days or 9 months, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or set up a Zoom call. So today we're going to look at some pretty exclusive communities here in Westfield, just to give you an idea kind of what Westfield has to offer when it comes to these types of communities. We went through Carmel just to show you what Carmel had, but now it's time to go through Westfield and show you exactly what Westfield has to offer, especially with all the growth. So we are in Grand Junction Plaza right now. This building right here, if you guys remember, if you watched the Westfield tour, that building right there was being constructed, and it's not done. They're working on the interior now, but the exterior has come a long way. It is almost done. Those are apartments, but Westfield has a lot happening and a lot coming to it. So we wanted to show you guys what type of communities Westfield has to offer in the higher price point, because especially with a lot of executives moving to Westfield or people who want to upgrade to a really nice community, we want to show you what Westfield has to offer. So let's go ahead and explore these different communities. The first neighborhood today is going to be Brookside, and Brookside is located directly off of Cary Road and 161st Street, and it is actually right across the street from Bridgewater, and we'll cover Bridgewater here in a little bit. But Brookside, it's got a lot of amenities right by it. You got 146 just down the street. It's pretty close to the Carmel, Westfield, and even Noblesville borders that line right there. But walking through the neighborhood, it is a beautiful neighborhood. It is very peaceful and quiet. That's going to be a common theme today in just the neighborhoods that we go through, but this one in particular is pretty peaceful. Let's see, 1:15 on a Wednesday, filming this. Just very peaceful, very little cars and whatnot. Everyone's at school, everyone's at work. This neighborhood itself is relatively new, built in the early 2000s. That's what we were seeing when doing the research and looking at property records and all that. Early 2000s, which doesn't surprise me because these homes look newer. And just talking about the different styles of homes, they are different. They're not cookie cutter homes. A lot of these are honestly probably going to be more custom homes, because in terms of pricing, you're looking at least $1 million to $1.4 million. And so it's very different. A lot of masonry on the exterior of the homes, stone, brick. You know, this one right here, you got some stone at the bottom and then brick on the top. So just very, nice, and it just varies in the looks. These homes in the community have very nice manicured lawns. You have trees in every yard. It's very nice. You also have a pool and a clubhouse, trails as well. Not tons of trails, just a very nice community and different styles. Like I've said, like this style of home is definitely different. Got a majority of brick, but then a little bit of stone here and there. You have a combination of 1- and 2-story homes. I'm seeing the majority of 2-story homes. Lots of the homes have nice sweeping roof lines. I just want to get on the roofs. Most of these homes also have chimneys and fireplaces, is what I'm seeing. One nice thing about the community is it's just down the street from Cary Ridge Elementary, right off of Cary Road. So all you got to do is go down 161st Street, hit the roundabout, take a right, and then you're going to be at that elementary school. Since we are so close to a bunch of different schools and elementary schools here in Westfield. Now we are at Bridgewater. We are right across the street from Brookside, and Bridgewater is a special community. It's got, well, it's known for its golf course. The Bridgewater Golf Course, that was designed by Pete Dye. Pete Dye has designed a bunch of golf courses here in Indiana, in Carmel, Westfield. And one interesting thing about Bridgewater is it does have a Carmel address, but technically it's in Westfield. Because when you look at a map, Bridgewater is north of 146, and 146 is the dividing line between Westfield and Carmel. Carmel likes to claim things that aren't theirs. So they claimed Bridgewater, of course. Bridgewater was built in the early 2000s. I believe the golf course opened in 2003, and then the homes came in during and a little bit after, because all these homes, just looking at property records, taxes, they were built in the early 2000s, but there's still a little bit of building going on here with Bridgewater in the very back of the community, because this community is massive. It's a little over 750 acres. So it's big, very big. So there's a little bit of new construction still going on at the very back of the community, low maintenance. It is, or the builder there is going to be Sigma Builders. But right now we're walking through the main portion of Bridgewater. Actually, we are on Pete Dye Boulevard, which is fitting since Pete Dye designed the golf course. But the homes are beautiful. Now, this is a busier community than the last one, than Brookside, because it's a golf community. People use their golf carts to get everywhere they need to go within the community, through or to the golf course, the pro shop, all of that stuff. It is very beautiful. I've been there a few times for some meetings, and it's got a lot going for it. It is big. It's a good sized clubhouse. And then the golf course is very popular as well. It is a private golf course, but you can host different events and whatnot if you want at the golf course for a price, right? But anyway, walking through the neighborhood, the community, looking at these different homes, each section is just going to be different. This section right here is very beautiful. Every home is going to be different. You're not going to have two homes that are alike. You do have a combination of 1 and 2 story homes. Most of these homes are going to have a 3-car garage, side loading 3-car garage, a combination of brick and stone. Like this house right here, you got stone on the front garage, and then you've got your brick throughout as well. Most of these homes are going to be masonry painted, or I'm not really seeing, okay, you do have some, I think probably wood siding up there at the top. I can't walk. But most of these homes are going to be masonry, which is really, really nice. It's actually kind of a breath of fresh air, if you will, because most of the communities that we see and we go into, they're going to have either vinyl siding or hardy plank siding. I personally prefer hardy plank over the vinyl siding because hardy plank's just a better product and it looks better. But seeing a majority of masonry on these homes is really nice. Now, this home over here, right there, has wood siding. So, but even then, you still have masonry touches. You have stone and whatnot throughout. So, but it's very different. Like I said, no two homes are alike, which I really like, because if you're going to pay $1 million plus on a home, you want it to be different. And so, talking about pricing, the cheapest you're going to get into this community is the high sixes. Since it's, again, so big, there are different sections in the community that are going to be a little cheaper. So you're going to start in the high sixes. You're going to go all the way up to $4 million, because there are different sections of the community that are gated, other sections that are more open, especially right by the golf course. That's going to be more open than the other sections that are a little farther away from the golf course that are going to be gated. And sometimes I can get into those, sometimes I can't, just depends on if the gate is open. So talking about the golf course just a little bit, it is an 18-hole championship golf course. You got 9 holes of executive, a 9-hole executive course takes you half the time, about 2 hours. You got a 9-hole course, and then you have a 23-acre practice range, which is crazy. That's, I mean, it's a massive golf course and community as well. Then you've got a 6-acre short game area. You got indoor hitting and putting rooms. It's pretty impressive. I've never played golf here before. I'm not much of a golf player, but for all those of you who are looking for a community like this, like a golf course community, this might fit what you're looking for. And so let's go back to price just a little bit. So again, you're going to be in the high 600s to really get in this community for a single family home. It's going to go up to $3+ million, but you also have some condos / townhomes in the community as well. Those are going to be cheaper. Those are going to be easier to get into. Those are going to start in the low 3s. And then the new construction stuff that Sigma is building towards the back of the community right by those condos and townhomes, those are going to start at 400,000 and go all the way up to 6-ish. And it's a low maintenance community, so that's definitely nice, especially, hey, if you've got a busy work life, you don't want a massive home, you don't want to worry about taking care of your lawn and whatnot, that would be a good community. Also, heck, if you're a retiree or you just don't want the maintenance, that would be a good place to be if you can afford it, basically, if it's in your price range. And the Bridgewater Golf Course and the community is going to be located right off of Cary Road at 161st Street. And you have a ton of amenities that are a buy too, so you're going to be really close to 146, all that 146 shopping. You're also very close to 31. You have a Walmart right by 31, strip centers right there, so you're very close to shopping. You're also almost on the border of Carmel as well, so you can get pretty much anywhere you need to go within Hamilton County relatively quickly, especially if you're going to Carmel or even Indianapolis. And amenities within the community, obviously you got the golf course, but you also have walking trails and lots of ponds as well. So it just creates a very nice, peaceful atmosphere. And honestly, it's fun to drive through Bridgewater, just kind of look at the homes because they're all just so different. Like even this one right there, so the front of it almost looks like a barn, if you will, but like a nice barn. You got, or I should say, a farmhouse style. That's better. A better way to describe it than a barn. It's a farmhouse style. You got a metal roof on the garage. Then you got your asphalt shingles. On the rest of the house, you got some nice stone, some nice siding. So just walking through this community, you're going to see very different architecture, and I think that's great. If you've heard of the Grand Park Sports Complex, you have absolutely heard of Chatham Hills and the Chatham Hills Golf Course, and that's where we're going to be stopping last, Chatham Hills, and also Chatham Village, which is right across the street. It is still part of Chatham, but the main part of Chatham, it is very impressive, and the community itself surrounds that golf course. Like I said, it was designed by Pete Dye. They started construction back in 2014. Then they started to construct the homes in 2016 when the golf course opened. Chatham Hills and Chatham Village is located right off of Tomlinson Road, not far from 38th Street or Highway 38, Highway 31, and 32. And because you're very close to 32, you have access to all those 32 amenities. You're right down the street from Grand Park. And it's not going to take you terribly long to get to Carmel, Fishers, Noblesville. It will take you about 45 minutes to an hour to get to downtown Indianapolis, though, from Chatham Hills. Chatham Hills is definitely a very impressive community, especially with just the feel, the look of the neighborhood, quality of homes. Most of these homes I should say, all of these homes are going to be custom homes. Some homes will have similar common themes in terms of structure, but the look themselves are going to be different. You're going to have a combination of masonry, hardy plank siding. Some are going to have more wood siding, kind of like that one right there, with it looks like cedar siding, which is really nice. The neighborhood is overall quiet. Now, of course, it depends on the time of day. During the weekends, it's a little busier because people are out golfing. Golf carts are going back and forth because since this is a golf cart community, that is something you will have to deal with. But of course, you can also go golfing too, which is really nice. You have a combination of mainly 3-car to 4-car plus garages. Most of them are going to be side-loading garages, which is nice because it gives you the illusion that the garage is actually part of the livable square footage of the home, but it's not. It just looks better aesthetically, and that's what Chatham Hills is definitely going for. Looks matter here in Chatham because it's a high-end community. Pricing is up there as well. Speaking of pricing, here in the main section of Chatham, you're going to be looking at more of the 800 plus range, 850 to then over $4 million plus, because there are certain sections that are around $4 million because Chatham is a pretty big community, so you're gonna have different sections. The main part of Chatham isn't gated, but then the little sections are going to be gated. The areas where you're gonna have like $4 million plus homes, that is going to be gated. I've been in that section where you got all those $4 million homes a couple years ago for Homeorama, where builders were showing what they could do and showing off their homes. It was very impressive. Beautiful, beautiful homes. One of the homes actually had a basketball court in the basement, which is not something you see very often. You don't see that every day. So just what the builders can do in this community, basically the only limit you have is going to be price of what you're willing to spend on the house to build it. You do have some lots that are still available here in Chatham. There is still some new construction going on, but for the most part, Chatham Hills is pretty well built out. And so you can get lots. Again, you can get lots, but when you're looking at lot prices, what I've seen anywhere from 1 $150,000 to, I think the highest I saw was $350, maybe even $400,000. But it really just depends on the location of the lot. But then remember, you buy that lot for, let's just say $250, then you got to build your home. That's on top of that. And a lot of the times in Chatham and in communities like this, they have specific builders that you have to go with because they have over 26 different custom home builders here. And since they're going to be custom homes, it can take over a year to build them, 2 years sometimes. I've heard of some builds taking at least 2 years because then they might get the exterior done relatively fast, let's just say in 6 months, but then they got to work on the interior. And with a custom home, you know, if you're paying over $1 million, you expect the touches and the finishes to be to a certain level. So it takes these carpenters and these trades a longer time because they're being paid to do a good job to have nice touches. And so just over the years, as Chatham has been developed, it's been honestly a pleasure to see everything being developed, the different types of homes these custom builders are building, because again, it is very impressive. Different architectural styles. You're going to have a combination of modern, traditional, and I don't know if this is the right word, but almost like a Tuscan feel, more a type of, you know, style of homes that you're going to find more in, say, Italy, with certain color masonry, stone, lots of stone, some of these. But predominantly I'm seeing a lot of brick around the homes. These homes are, like I said, very architecturally different, and it's just really neat coming through here and just seeing the different styles of homes. This one is predominantly masonry. You've got some stone there, but then you also have a lot of brick. You got some more masonry on the lower third of the home as well. And most of these homes, is what I'm seeing, is they've got fireplaces, probably multiples, at least 2 fireplaces, just given the size of the home. Just very impressive, quiet, peaceful. You got this home right there, almost like a farmhouse style of home. And I personally really like that farmhouse style. It's basic, but then, you know, what's happening on the inside, because what I've seen is a lot of the homes that look more basic have really, really nice features, beautiful wood flooring, different types of massive like fridges and appliances, and just really cool features is what I've noticed. And the biggest thing that Chatham is known for is going to be their golf course. It's a world-renowned golf course designed by Pete Dye, 18 holes. It's beautiful. I have never been on the golf course, but I have driven around and seen it. It is a beautiful golf course. A lot of people will come to the golf course, residents, do business, conduct business. They will also just do it for a leisurely activity as well. It's very impressive. And Pete Dye has designed multiple golf courses here in Indiana, 2 here in Westfield. So you got Chatham, which he designed. Then you have Bridgewater, which we also covered in this video. He designed that. And then Crooked Stick Golf Course in Carmel, Indiana. He designed that one as well. So he's got 3 golf courses here in Hamilton County, in Westfield, 2 in Westfield, and then 1 in Carmel. And he's very well known for just how well his golf courses are designed. Another big benefit residents have is going to be the Chatham Hills Clubhouse. It's massive. It is just a little over 62,000 square feet. You got a 2-level fitness center. You got 4-lane bowling alley. You have golf simulators. You got 2 restaurants. It's just very, very impressive. It's massive. It was constructed and opened in 2018, 2 years after Chatham Hills officially opened. We are now in Chatham Village. I call this the cheaper section of Chatham, the poor man's version of Chatham. No, I'm just joking. Chatham Village is a cheaper than the main section of Chatham Hills, but at the same time, just because it's a little cheaper does not mean that it is any less beautiful. You can still get really, really nice homes here. When you're talking about pricing for Chatham Village, you're going to be in the 500s all the way up to over 1.2 million. And we've actually been in Chatham Village before. We've actually showed you guys one of the homes. It's that home right over there. That's a David Weekley home. It's the David Weekley model for Chatham Village. If you watched our Westfield tour, we covered that. There are a couple different builders here in Chatham Village, not as many as Chatham Hills, but you're going to have David Weekley, Lennar, Old Town, Sigma, and some others, but those are like the main ones. Walking through the neighborhood, it is nice. There's a lot of construction going on right now because it's a new section. The nice thing about this new section, though, is you can still have access to the Chatham Hills Golf or not the golf course, but you could if you paid for it. But the clubhouse, there are some social fees. You still have access to Chatham Hills, the clubhouse, all of that. So there's benefits. Different builders definitely have different styles in here. There are a lot of Lennar homes in here. All of them look very similar. You can see behind me, these are mainly gonna be Lennar homes. Not bad homes, they just look cookie cutter, honestly. Now, if you were gonna go with like a Sigma or a David Weekley or an Old Town, they're gonna look different. So the house right over there way in the back, the dark house, I wanna say that's an Old Town home. That looks like Old Town, actually. Go walk over there and see. Chatham Village, it is a nice community. It is quiet. So there are two sections. So we're more in the back section of Chatham Village. The front section is going to be more cookie cutter. All those homes are going to have rear loading garages. You can get two or three car garages. You're going to mainly have Lennar in there. You're going to have David Weekley. I believe those are the main two builders in that first section right off of Tomlinson Road. The lots aren't big. You don't have much of a yard in that section. With this, the back section, you have larger lots, more backyard. You have more options. Let's just say you have more options, let's call it that. But at the same time, not to detract at all from the front part of Chatham Village, it still is very nice. It's, if you want to be in Chatham Village, but you don't want to spend like $1 million, you can absolutely get into that front portion of Chatham. Now, this back portion is going to definitely be more expensive. A lot of the homes are going to be from, let's say, the mid sixes all the way up to $1.2 million. You could still get a pretty expensive home in the front section of Chatham Village. The front section is pretty much done. That's pretty much complete. So they did that front section, then they moved back to the back section, this section here. All right, so we are here at this home right here. This one, oh man, that looks a lot like an Old Town, but looks like someone lives there, so. But I want to say that's an Old Town home. Off this road right here, I'm going to turn around so you guys can see. But these homes right here, David Weekley and Old Town for sure. The white one at the very back, hopefully you guys can see it right over there. That looks like a David Weekley home, where these homes right over here, those are classic Lennar looks. You still have a good amount of lots available here in Chatham Village. So if you want to go more custom, Old Town and Sigma are going to be your best bet. They're going to specialize more in that area. With Lennar, you can't do anything custom. They are more of a spec builder, so they will plan out what they're going to build in a section and then just basically build it. They're going to have the color selections, cabinets, colors, all of that, flooring selections. That's all going to be predetermined, and they're going to build it, and once they're getting closer to the end of that build, they'll then release it, say, hey, it's available. So with Lennar, you don't really have any custom options, whereas David Weekley, you have more custom options. They're more of a high-end builder, a more, you could say semi-custom, not totally customizable, where Old Town and Sigma are going to be a step above that in terms of customizability, if that's even a word. You have more options. You can do a lot more. They have base models. I know Old Town has like some, base plans, but then it's kind of the sky's the limit, what your budget is, what you can afford, what they are comfortable doing as well. This part right here is definitely going to be more your Old Town, your Sigmas here, Old Town and Sigma, and then David Weekley. Yeah, very beautiful homes, definitely different than over there, nothing against those, but when you're paying a good amount of money to be in a section of Chatham or Chatham Village, I personally expect a certain level of fit and finish, because you're going to be paying monthly social dues for the club. I believe you have a monthly minimum spending limit you have to reach to still be a part of the club. If I'm paying for that stuff monthly, I expect to have a home that's going to have some very nice finishes, that's not as cookie cutter, that's the neighbor next to you has the same exact layout, or maybe it's flipped or reversed layout. And so you do have quite a bit of lots here. So these are, let's see, these are David Weekley lots. Yeah, you can see on the signs here, it's David Weekley. You can't see it, but I can see it. So David Weekley here. A lot of these homes are going to have basements, and again, in Chatham Hills, most of these homes are going to have basements, because again, if you're paying a certain price, I expect a basement. Yeah, so here's this David Weekley home that is being poured right now. Let's see. Oh yeah, this definitely has a basement. Again, if I'm paying X amount, it better. That's my philosophy. You know, I want the most bang for my buck that I can get. And honestly, if you're gonna, again, be in here, you want to have certain fit and finishes, basements, number of rooms. You want quality if you're gonna be in here. And David Weekley and the builders in here can definitely provide that for you, especially with the more semi-custom to custom. Again, where Lennar is going to be more your cookie cutter. All that stuff was predetermined a year ago, and so you can't really make changes. So that's the downside about buying a Lennar home in here. It's not customizable. If I'm going to be in here, I'd want it to be customizable. You know, even a few things here or there. But again, that's just me. That is my opinion. It is completely subjective. You know, if you guys like that, more power to you. That's great. If you're like, we're coming in from out of state, we need something, but we want to be in this area, that would be a great option, because it's almost complete, or it's completed, it's on the market. You know, could potentially get some nice rate buy downs, because a lot of builders do offer that now. With that being said, if you're buying a custom home in Chatham Hills, you are not going to get incentives like that, because that's not what custom builders do. With some of the semi-custom builders, they will do something. Sometimes they will do maybe a little incentive here. Hey, we'll give you, for an example, $5K in what we call flex cash to for options or whatever, or you can apply to the lot premium or whatever. But you can't expect that with higher end builders, custom builders, semi-custom builders. It's just not something that you can expect, just because of the caliber of the home, the money that you're spending. Now, if you want to go to a different community, let's just say, for example, Harvest Trails, which is another David Weekley community, they're gonna be more likely to offer incentives, because it's not Chatham Village, it's not Chatham Hills, it's a different community. Harvest Trails is a great community, but it doesn't have the stature, let's just say, that Chatham Hills and Chatham Village has. So because of that, you're less likely to get incentives here. So walking by this little home site right next to this black and white missionary house. So right here, you do have the Old Town Design Group. So that is an Old Town home that's gonna be built right there. And so that makes me think that's gonna be Old Town as well. It looks so much like the Old Town. I personally like Old Town. They make good products. They make good homes. They build quality homes. I'd love to buy an Old Town home one day. Chatham Hills is an absolutely beautiful community that it's worth checking out, in my opinion, if you have the money, or if you want to just drive through it and just see it. I absolutely encourage you to. It's beautiful. And then Chatham Village right across the street is a great option as well to be part of Chatham Hills, but at a little cheaper price range. Again, not cheap, but cheaper. It's not, you know, $1 million plus starting price. You can get in here a little cheaper depending on what you're looking for. So those were some of the most expensive, most exclusive communities here in Westfield. That's not all of them that we showed you. There are still plenty, but these are some of the top ones, you know, especially with Chatham. That is a very, very popular golf course, newer community, you know, started building in 2016, a lot going on for it, and the surrounding areas too. But again, Westfield, as I said earlier, has just so much happening, just so much development, especially downtown. You know, we're here in Grand Junction Plaza, and just all the development that is happening. Westfield is really trying to do stuff here. They're trying to, in some ways, compete with Carmel, but the mayor once said earlier this year in 2025, they don't want to be Carmel. We don't want to be Carmel. They want to be their own thing, and they're taking different elements, say from Carmel, Noblesville, Fishers, kind of making it into one, which is Westfield, downtown Westfield. It's just so much is coming to Westfield, different communities, different job opportunities, making it a really great place for people to come, move, live in Westfield. And so right here, you can see behind me all the construction. So this is Union right here. Back there at the light is 32, and they're going to be creating a roundabout finally. I've lived in Westfield for quite a while, about 22 years now. So back there at 32 and Union has always been a light. It was a one stoplight in all of downtown Westfield. They're finally going to get rid of it, and it's going to be a roundabout, which will absolutely help the flow of traffic. I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it because then I don't have to, stop. Well, you still have to stop at a roundabout and yield, but there's not a stoplight because that stoplight would just get so backed up. It was a pain in the butt. Anyway, just with all the rapid growth happening with Westfield, it's a great place to consider. It's not Carmel, no, but in some ways, I think Westfield is better than Carmel. I'm partial to it because, again, I've been living here for quite a while. Just growing up and seeing everything that's happening and basically seeing it on the ground floor, if you will. So that's why I always like to encourage people to get into Westfield before the space runs out, before it becomes even more expensive. Carmel's nice and expensive, and it's hard to find stuff there. Homes, there's no new construction going on right now because, well, actually there is a little bit of new construction, but not a ton because Carmel doesn't have the space to expand like Westfield does. Westfield has a good amount of space to expand a little farther north. So they're absolutely taking advantage of that space. And with a new water park announced, that it's technically in Sheridan, but it's gonna be like 38 and 31-ish, kind of at that corner right there. That's big. That was just announced a couple weeks ago. So it'll be cool just to see everything. And of course, there's, Grand Park, Grand Park Villages, which is going to be a new thing. Grand Universe, again, just so much coming to Westfield. We will definitely experience growing pains. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it's going to be a seamless transition because one of the biggest things that they need to work on is State Road 32. That gets backed up. That's a pain in the butt to drive down State Road 32 going east and west. But, after everything is complete, it will absolutely be worth it with all the development. You're gonna have Sun King, you're gonna have a whole bunch of different a parking garage, you're gonna have more restaurants, and you're also gonna have what's called a Dora. It's basically where you can legally have alcohol out in the open outside within a certain part of the district in Westfield and downtown. But again, just so much coming to Westfield. That's why I encourage people to absolutely look at Westfield if it's in their price range, if they like the area, if they feel like it's right for them. If it's not, hey, there are plenty of other areas in central Indiana that might be right for you. Again, Westfield has so much coming to it. And development, yes, growing pains are happening. There are a bunch of road closures right now for roundabouts, widening roads, just general maintenance Westfield needs, closing roads for communities and drainage. There is some stuff going on and there is growing pains, but I think it's worth it in the end. And it'll be interesting to see how it all happens. It will absolutely show you guys how it all happens and show you the progress. And comment below, what was your favorite community? Mine personally was Chatham Hills. Chatham Hills is a beautiful community. And if you're looking to move in 9 days or 9 months, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or set up a Zoom call.